The summer sun cast long, golden fingers over the rolling hills, painting the landscape in a palette of warmth that belied the storm gathering inside me. I'd embarked on this solitary drive to escape, perhaps from myself, or from the constant clamor of life's unanswered questions. The road was my familiar confidant, its gentle curves aligning with the measured rhythm of my heartbeat. It was here, with nothing but the hum of the engine and the whisper of the wind through open windows, that I often found solace. As I navigated the winding asphalt ribbons, my thoughts drifted back to the intense conversation I'd had just hours earlier with Daniel, my closest friend and an unwavering pillar of faith. We had debated endlessly over the possibility of divine love, how it could exist even when religion seemed to scorn who I was. God loves you, Daniel had insisted, his eyes earnest, but his words, to me, like sand slipping through my fingers, grasped but never held. Now, replaying the dialogue in my mind, skepticism sketched shadows over my heart. Could there be a love so magnanimous that it saw through to my very core and found nothing worthy of disdain? My chest tightened with a familiar pang of conflict, a battle between belief and disbelief churning like a pot brought to its boiling point. The sky above mirrored my inner turmoil, darkening with a suddenness that startled me. Clouds coalesced in a brooding mass, their edges frayed by flashes of distant lightning. The wind picked up, no longer a caress, but a howl against the car, jostling me from my thoughts. An ominous tension gripped the air, thickening with pending upheaval. Just as I turned the corner, lost in contemplation, a blinding sheet of rain descended, obscuring my vision and blurring the boundary between earth and sky. Panic gripped me, adrenaline surging through my veins. With a thundering heart, I struggled against the storm's onslaught, every muscle tense with fear. Suddenly, headlights sliced through the torrential curtain, a truck barreling towards me in a trajectory of fate. Time warped, slowing to a crawl as a visceral cry wrenched from my throat, swallowed by the storm's roar. In that suspended second, I was acutely aware of the sharp tang of petrichor, the acrid smell of burning rubber mingling with the raw metallic taste of fear on my tongue. Realizing the inevitable, a sense of surreal calm descended upon me, a quiet acceptance amidst the chaos. My thoughts flashed to those I loved, unfinished conversations and dreams left dangling like loose threads in life's tapestry. Then, as the grinding crescendo of metal meeting metal filled the air, an overwhelming silence consumed me. The calm before the storm had given way to the eye of a celestial cyclone, spinning me towards an unimaginable horizon. A peculiar peace blossomed within as everything I knew unraveled, each thought drifting away like autumn leaves carried by a gentle breeze. It was a stillness so profound that it seemed to cradle the world itself, suspending time and space, and leading me up to a higher understanding that awaited just beyond the veil of reality. With the world collapsing around me in a maelstrom of confusion and sound, I felt the shackles of time beginning to loosen. In that fraction of a heartbeat, 1,000 images raced through my mind. Childhood moments caught in the sugar-grain light of morning, the vulnerable confession spoken under starry night skies, and the tender embrace of my first love. It was as if life itself was giving me a parting gift, a collection of moments that stitched together the fabric of my being. Then, with an uncanny clarity, I felt a shift, a release from the physical domain. My body, gripped with fear and inertia, faded into insignificance as I experienced the exhilarating freedom of weightlessness. The cacophony of the crash grew silent beneath me. I was rising, an unfettered essence amid a tapestry of light and shadow, my former self but a faint echo of corporeal existence. Below, distant and surreal, the scene of wreckage unfolded. My car, once a trusted companion, lay wrapped in a merciless embrace of twisted steel and shattered glass. Paramedics swarmed like diligent bees over my motionless form, their faces a portrait of urgent determination. And there I was, hovering without physical constraint, observing my own demise with an absence of fear, a curious tableau to behold with dispassionate. A gentle pull began to guide me upwards, away from the chaos I had known, and into an unending corridor of radiant light. It was more than illumination. It was an embrace, tenderly encircling each fiber of my being and whispering promises of love and understanding. Each step forward untangled the knots within my soul, leaving them behind piece by piece. As I ascended, sensations intensified. Soundlessness wrapped around me, a profound quiet that sang of eternities. There was a scent reminiscent of comfort, like the nostalgia of worn books and the sweetness of spring's first bloom. Every sense was attuned to an orchestra of tranquility that played through my very core. Arriving at the threshold of a vast expanse, I felt the relentless flood of emotions morph into tranquil acceptance. This place was woven from the ethereal, built of light so pure it shimmered like countless sun-kissed angel wings. Before me, the boundary of my understanding began to expand beyond earthly limitations into a realm where time and space did not dictate existence. Suddenly, a presence emerged from the radiance, vast and enveloping, one I recognized from Sunday school tales and whispered hymns. Jesus stood before me, his form emanating warmth and gentle authority. His eyes were deep pools of wisdom, reflecting a boundless ocean of compassion and love. There was no need for words. His presence alone spoke volumes of acceptance, of understanding, of a love so profound it enveloped every corner of my being. An intricate tapestry of my life unfolded, framed by his divine light. In each scene, I was met not with judgment, but with clarity. Here was my life in its honesty, a series of moments driven by love and missteps, and through it all, a thread of divine acceptance ran like a golden skein. All the doubts, the fears, the rejection I had felt seemed to dissolve in his gaze. Do you see now? The resonance in my soul seemed to ask, and I understood. Love was much more than the world's fragmented interpretations. It was an eternal truth, transcending human definitions, embracing all that I was and would ever be. In that revelation, a part of me was reborn, embraced by forgiveness that was never needed but freely given. Lost in this moment of revelation, I felt the ties of my earthly doubts unfurl like ribbons, setting free the reservations that bound my heart. I saw the beauty in my true self, not the man shaped by others' expectations, but one uniquely crafted by divine hands. Yet, even as I reveled in this new understanding, a sensation tugged at me gently, pulling me back towards the edge of consciousness, back to the mortal coil I had so thoughtlessly shed. Reluctance gripped me, a wish to remain and abide in this boundless grace, but purpose lay urging me forward, to return, renewed but deeply changed. As I drifted downward, the vision of Jesus remained brightly etched in my mind, a lighthouse guiding me back through the corridors of light, carrying with me the essence of acceptance and love bestowed upon me by a higher consciousness. As I moved through the luminous corridor, each step seemed to dissolve the weight of earthly concerns, lightening the burden I had carried for so many years. The melody of silence was intoxicating, each note resonating within the depths of my soul. I felt like an instrument finely attuned to a celestial orchestra, each vibration a revelation continuing to unfurl within me. Beyond the reach of time, I arrive at the precipice of an infinite landscape painted with hues more vivid and alive than anything I had ever seen. Colors weren't merely perceived, they were felt, each wave of light imbued with love and warmth. This was a realm sculpted by the essence of divinity itself. Standing amidst this breathtaking expanse, my heart trembled at the overwhelming beauty that enveloped me. The last vestiges of my earthly life seemed so distant, like echoes whispering from a long-forgotten dream. Every lingering question, each doubt and fear, dissipated into the ether, replaced by a profound sense of belonging and peace. And then, there he was, emerging from the radiance, a visage of unmatched luminosity. Jesus stood before me, his presence exuding an allure of peace and unconditional love. His eyes, ancient and profound, gazed into mine, and it was as though the universe itself had paused, expectantly holding its breath. In those eyes, I found a reflection of every moment I had lived, replete with its joys and grievances, triumphs and regrets. Yet there was no condemnation, only understanding and an embrace of all that I was. The communication was beyond language, a transferring of truths from his essence to mine, bypassing all need for speech. His voice, a musical symphony of compassion, resonated not in the air, but within my very core. In that moment, I felt truly seen, fully known. Every secret, every wish, every aspect of my identity laid bare before his penetrating gaze and met with boundless acceptance. Scenes from my life unfurled around us, suspended in his divine light. I saw myself navigate through years shadowed by longing for connection, for meaning, encountering love in its myriad forms, each a part of this sacred journey. But there, woven throughout, was the revelation I had never grasped. Love transcended earthly boundaries and definitions. It was a divine symphony, harmonizing every chord of creation. In his presence, I glimpsed the harmony of existence, a connection deeper than blood or kin, an indissoluble bond that belonged to the soul's journey beyond earthly identifications. And in seeing this, I understood that the divine love I yearned for had always been present, carrying me through life's trials, guiding me to this pivotal moment of clarity. A warm sensation encircled me, the softest touch against my soul, unfurling a once unimagined freedom within me. My spirit, unshackled, soared with the realization that I was, and always had been, embraced by his limitless love. His presence assured me that I was indeed fearfully and wonderfully made, perfect thread in the cosmic design. As the light intensified, shimmering brightly with his compassion, he imparted upon me a sacred knowledge, a glimpse into life unfettered by doubt. I realized that true transformation is not the shedding of identity, but the acceptance of one's divine nature, each soul a unique expression of his boundless love. Yet, amid the profound peace, a gentle pull began to take hold, drawing me back from the embrace of this resplendent realm. A longing to remain tugged at my essence, but the call of purpose resonated even stronger. Return, his presence seemed to encourage, for there is much left to illuminate, much love to express. His gaze lingered on me, a reminder of the truth now etched within my soul. Slowly, reluctantly, I began to drift back, his face forever etched in my consciousness, the reaffirmation of my worth and purpose unfading as I descended towards the veil that separated this holy place from the trembling world below. With a heart full yet serene, I carried the essence of this divine encounter within me, knowing that while I would re-enter a world of doubt and form, I did so transformed, with a mission not to change who I was, but to live as a testament to the boundless, inclusive love I had experienced, to share this love in all its truth with a world desperately in need of its healing embrace. As I returned with a weightless gait, surrendering to the inevitable pull back into the realm of the living, I carried within me the embers of a profound truth, still ablaze with divine light. The celestial landscape faded gently from my vision, replaced by a dull, muted grayness that clung to the periphery of my awareness. My transition was filled with contrasting emotions, a bittersweet blend of desire to remain amidst the euphoric love and the resolute call of earthly purpose that beckoned me onward. I could sense the boundaries of my physical form reassembling around me, a snug and oddly comforting entrapment of flesh and bone. As I descended, the edges of reality materialized from the hazy mist, and I found myself in the silence of the hospital room, the rhythm of monitors beeping softly in synchrony with my newly anchored heartbeat. Blinking through the ache of returning to consciousness, I was greeted by a sterile world, its clean lines and harsh fluorescent light a stark contrast to the luminous warmth I had left behind. Yet, deep within me glowed a light far more piercing than any earthly source. In that silent room, the clarity of my encounter with the divine refused to dissipate, filling the space with a sacred serenity previously unknown. My mind, still electrified by the encounter, flooded with cascades of thoughts and emotions. Was it real? A figment of a dying mind, or a glimpse into something undeniably sacred? I questioned, though the answers seemed to dance just out of reach. Yet there was no denying the shift within, the irrevocable transformation etched into every cell of my being. It was as though my soul had been polished, shedding layers of doubt and fear to reveal the truth lying quietly beneath. Am I still the same? I pondered, searching my heart for the remnants of who I once was. The echo of a mission whispered softly within, nudging me towards an understanding beyond the grasp of skepticism and disbelief. You are loved. The essence of his voice resonated, soft, unwavering, and eternal, as it reminded me of the beautiful symphony I had witnessed. The revelation was disarmingly simple, yet profound in its depth. Love, pure and unadulterated, transcended earthly definitions and limitations. It was the divine essence that weaved through all of creation, binding us beyond the confines of identity. It was a love so absolute that it knew no boundaries, embracing every soul in the totality of its existence. As I lay there, absorbing the magnitude of this revelation, an unexpected warmth spread through my heart. My idea of self shifted, the constraints of previous labels crumbling in the wake of a newfound freedom. The realization that I was part of something far greater than individual identity, no longer bound to see life through such a limited lens, filled me with a profound peace. Yet, the journey was fraught with uncertainty. Emerging back into everyday life, I would face those who could not comprehend the depth of what I had experienced. My words would falter, struggling to capture the ineffable truth I had encountered. But there was an underlying steadiness in my resolve. I knew I had been gifted a truth that sought not to change who I was, but to empower and illuminate my path with love's unyielding light. The world awaited, rife with doubt and pain, but I was no longer afraid. I had been touched by something extraordinary, a glimpse of divine harmony that whispered promises of connection and belonging. With each breath, I vowed to journey forward, sharing the boundless love I had known, a love that flowed unconditionally and encapsulated all of us in its expansive embrace. The beeping of monitors faded into the background as my consciousness aligned fully with my renewed purpose. I understood now that the essence of my transformation lay not in altering who I fundamentally was, but in embracing the gift of divine love I had been shown, living as a testament to that love every day. In emerging from the experience, there was no turning straight from the encounter with Jesus, but rather turning towards straighter paths of truth, acceptance, and harmony, guided by the divine revelation that had forever altered the core of my being.